My name is Roy Langmaid, and this movie is 5 minutes long about one of the most important and poorly understood and neglected aspects of groups and workshops. I'm talking about group dynamics. Group dynamics refer to the climate and atmospheres that pervade a group and are a vital part of its life. Dynamics, like process, influence everything that happens in groups. They will affect who speaks, what people order they speak in, what they say and what they mean. Yet my experience of modern moderators is that they have little, if any, training and understanding of dynamics, while their focus on process, in particular the topic guide, takes up all their time. Thus, when things go wrong in groups, they have little resources in the dynamics area to put things right. But before things go wrong, let's start with a good situation, one we all like. The session has just finished and someone says, "That was a good group." But what does this mean? Apart from the fact that it's a remark that we hear far too infrequently. The most usual driver of such a remark is that the group and the moderator were well behaved, that they followed the agreed guide, everyone was engaged, everyone spoke, what they said was on topic, and the test material was explored in a fair way. Sounds perfect. Well, it might be, but there is a dynamic factor to be considered before we give ourselves full marks. That dynamic is the basic assumption known as dependency, or the dependent group. Some new language here, basic assumptions and dependency. What are these? Okay, so a short history of group dynamics leads quickly to the work of Wilfred Bion at the Tavistock just after the Second World War. Working initially with traumatized soldiers, Bion noticed 3 basic climates that occurred in group. He called these basic assumptions. His thinking went, when people get together, they are excited and anxious. In order to manage that anxiety, the group may adopt an assumption that creates a climate which wards off their fear. The first of these, and the one we need to watch out for in our good group, is dependency. When present, dependency is characterized by a number of features: a compliant attitude, turn-taking, conventional language high in acceptability, waiting for the facilitator to ask a question or initiate an activity, engaged expressions, and politeness. Such groups, while on topic, often seem strangely flat, affectless, even dull. You can be sure that a huge amount of System 1 behaviour with all of its automaticity is going on. The origins of this behaviour most likely come from the classroom, being good at school. One problem that flows from this is that the dependence on the moderator may in fact be dependence on the person who knows the least about the topic, particularly if the participants have been chosen because of their engagement with or usage of or habits with some product or service. There are many other faults that derive from dependency too, mostly boiling down to the fact that the group is too regulated. And in regulated settings, our behaviour is edited and conventional. We are moderate, a bit of this and a bit of that. This basic assumption of dependency accounts for much of the predictable, somehow inauthentic compliance of so many groups. Of course, we need a bit of dependency to direct the groups in an appropriate manner, but we usually generate too much, especially if a client is watching and we wish to demonstrate our mastery of the situation. So what can you do? You can end dependency immediately by getting people talking to each other, rather than through you, the moderator. Here are a couple of options. Everybody, talk to your neighbour now for a couple of minutes each way about what matters to you about this product or service. Or find out from your neighbour if he or she had any anxieties about coming here to this session, and share your own. One of the reasons that dynamics get ignored is that they are less visible, more subtle than process. Group dynamics flow in different directions. They change unexpectedly. You can't always be sure what's going to happen next. But they have a profound effect on groups. And it doesn't make sense not to take the dynamics into account, both in running the group itself and in thinking about the meaning of the results afterwards. Did concept A perform poorly because of the concept itself, or because of a dynamic factor, something that was going on in the group that either was directed at other members of the group or at the moderator that caused a conflict, or some kind of way in which the judgment of concept A was influenced? In the next film, we will explore another of the old chestnuts in groups, the dynamic that underpins the dominant and the submissive respondent. That dynamic, that basic assumption, is called fight or flight, and I hope you join me next time to look at that one. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye for now.